and welcome to The Singer's Piano, where we talk about everything to do with piano, vocal and songwriting for self-expression and healing. Now, my name is Sam Delahaye. I've been a professional piano vocalist for over 17 years. I've travelled the world on cruise ships. I've worked with Sir Ray Davies. I've worked at multiple five-star hotels in London. I've played at the Royal Festival Hall. So I know what it means to be a professional piano vocalist. And this is what today's video is all about, which is the million-dollar question. How do I know when I'm ready to turn pro? Now, that is a really big question. And I'll tell you why it's big, because especially for women, I think more so than men, is we never feel good enough. Like, we just don't. Like, we need other people's approval. So we sit there and we wait for someone to say to us, oh, I'll give you a paid gig. Here's the thing though, it never happens. So I want to tell you, first of all, a story about how I turned pro. And it started, I went to university, I did a degree in music composition, and I was already at university, already performing 2 to 3 songs and small like open mic nights. I was doing performances at university, and I was doing like small half-an-hour living room gigs. I left university and I had a massive confidence crisis. I mean, that's a whole other story. But I built myself back up out of a really difficult relationship. I had no confidence whatsoever, and I was working as a support worker in Sutton, and I was miserable, and I had this absolute yearning to be pro. And over the space of 6 months, I ended up doing a series of gigs, free gigs to start with before I became pro. 1, to build up my confidence, 2, to build up my set list, and really just to get some performing experience. So if we take myself back to 2007, which is when I became professional. Back in 2007, I knew on the piano, I would say, I didn't even really know any covers. I'm going to be honest with you. I knew no covers. I'm self-taught on the piano, so I'd written a lot of my own songs, so I could play the piano, but I had no idea about chords. I didn't know what I was playing. I just knew my own songs. I met this beautiful woman called Khan, and I shared with her my dream. So what Khan did was she started to invite me to her flat to perform in front of her Slovenian friends. So I started to perform covers without the piano, just singing. And we do a couple of barbecues. I bring my piano. I just play some songs. Again, all my original songs. But I started to build up my confidence. And then she said, I've got a friend who's looking for a backing singer in a function band. So I auditioned for that. I got that. And that was actually my first paid gig. It wasn't a lot. It was like £50 a gig or something. But again, it was the first piece. It's the first amount of money that I got. And it was lovely and easy. I literally drove there. I did some ahs and oohs. It was for like a wedding band or something. But I really, really wanted to be a professional piano vocalist. So fast forward, and I decide that now is the time to audition. Okay, so again, don't forget, like I still couldn't play any covers on the piano. So I taught myself Heaven by Bryan Adams, and I taught myself Angel by Sarah McLachlan. And I did not expect to get the audition. I was really scared. Like, as a highly sensitive empath, I struggle with rejection. And I think that was why it took me so long to become professional. I really, really struggle with it. So I went for my first audition, and he took me down to Brighton, and I sang and I played. And yeah, and it was great. Like, I knew the songs off by heart. Again, I only knew 2 or 3 covers. But I'd started in that process of learning the covers, I'd started to learn the chords. And I realized that actually a lot of the songs, the cover songs that I was playing were the same chords. So fast forward 2 weeks after that audition, I get a call, and the guy says, you're going to the Caribbean in 2 weeks. Congratulations, you've got your first professional gig. Now, here's the thing. He told me that I needed to tell them that I knew 300 songs. I didn't know that. I knew 2 to 3 songs, right? So am I suggesting you do that? I'm not sure, really, because I think I wouldn't have done it any other way. Like, it's just the way it was. But what I realized is that as soon as I was flown out to Rome, I was so scared, like really scared. And I had a friend who was able to advise me. But I'm not going to lie to you. The first 6 weeks of my contract, I was awful. I was awful. But they paid me, right? They paid me even though I was awful. And here's what I'm trying to say to you is when you turn pro, I just want you to acknowledge that you're going to be awful, because a lot of the learning in turning pro is being on stage. You know, so Ed Sheeran talks about the 10,000 hours. The Beatles talk about the 10,000 hours. But some of those hours you can't do in your bedroom. You have to do that on stage. You have to learn how to talk to an audience. You have to learn how to read a room. You have to learn what song to sing next. You have to learn what songs work, what songs don't work, how to talk to an audience in between songs, what to wear, where to stand. Are you going to sit? Are you going to stand? What are you going to wear? Oh, what are you going to say? All those things. And there is so much of a steep learning curve when you become professional. So my friend, here's what I want to say about that. Some of you will want to plan it out. And yes, of course, you can do that. You can plan it out. And maybe you might be able to get a job, I don't know, playing and singing piano at a nursing home, which was much less high profile. I mean, I ended up singing in front of 2,000 people from nothing, or from a small living room gig, you know. So there are ways of becoming pro with less drama, but nothing beats being thrown in the deep end as a professional piano vocalist. That's all I'm going to say. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, that's a bit of a mad story, Sam. And really, I don't want to do that. So let me break down how you might want to go about it that's not so crazy. So in my previous video, I spoke about are you ready to perform? So we speak in the previous video about just doing some small performances in front of a few friends. And then the second moving up would be some open mics, or singing at a party, or just singing one or two songs really to people, but you know them off by heart. And then the third stage is where you start to kind of sing at living room gigs or barbecues like my friend Khan did. And so those are the non-professional gigs. So let's just say you're in the space right now where you are singing for free. Maybe you're singing at festivals, maybe you're singing at parties, and you've got a set list of about 7 or 8 songs that you know quite well. And you're thinking, could I go professional? All right, take a deep breath. Ready? You're breathing in and out. And you're not going to like what I say to you, but I'm going to say it anyway. Okay. You will be professional when someone is willing to pay you money. And that may not be what you want to hear, but it is the truth. So the only difference between being professional and non-professional is money. That literally is the difference. Now, some of you may be exceptional piano vocalist, you don't know it. And then in which case I'll say, why are you not gigging sooner? Like, go out, get yourself a paid gig, go to a small venue like a restaurant or a bar, and you know, you might just want to start by saying, I will play a lunchtime set for, I don't know, 150 pounds, or however much it is wherever you are, because everywhere's different as well. Or you may not be ready yet vocally. So sometimes I'll see piano vocalists and they're just not ready yet vocally. Like they may not be pitch perfect yet, or they may be quite clunky on the piano. And in which case, you will know pretty much straight away if you are going to a restaurant and you're asking for a paid gig, and you hand them your demo, they'll either say yes or no. Yeah. So it's one of those things where you have to put yourself out there, and it's really scary. And so the way that I did that was I just said, I'm not expecting anything. I'm just doing this because that's what singers do. They audition, and I want to be a professional singer. So I am going to do what paid singers do, which is to audition. You might be going, well, how do I get a paid gig? Like, what do I even do? The first thing you need to do is you need to get photographs taken, some professional quality photographs. The amount of singers that I have seen that have taken a photograph on their phone, it makes such a difference. Like, my friend was a model at the time when I was turning pro. And this is the one thing that she said. She said, invest in professional photographs. So I think I spent, back then was £400, £500. I don't know how much it would be now in London, because I live in Cornwall. I've just done a recent photo shoot, which was about the same, but London would be more expensive depending on where you are in the world. But you want them to be professional with different outfits. So you want to have like a nice dress. you want to have a more casual outfit, but your branding. So I do a lot of wedding singing. Yeah. So I wanted to make sure that I had a beautiful dress on when I did my last photo shoot. But if you are a cabaret singer, you might want to have something a bit sparkly, or if you're a rock singer, you want to have your leathers on, whatever it is, but make sure it's branded. And when you have your photo shoot done, you want to have your hair and your makeup professionally done, or at least looking really great. So if you're amazing at makeup, do it yourself. But if you're not, like if you know, then get a professional hair and makeup artist, because they make all the difference. Okay, so you've done your photo shoot. You got amazing photos. The next thing you need to do is you need to get a really good demo of 4 songs. So when I first started, I think I had a demo of like 2. I was doing cabaret as well, so I was doing backing tracks. So I think I had 2 songs with backing tracks. One was upbeat, one was slow. No, I had 2 slow. I couldn't play upbeat piano back then. So I had two slow piano songs. So we had a thing called Star Now, where you uploaded your video. You uploaded your photo, you uploaded your demo, and you uploaded your biography. So I had a biography of like where I'd played. So it was very simple. Like, I'd done a degree in music. I'd managed to get a few bars for free, actually. That's another good one. Offer a few bars, free gigs. So I was able to put them on my CV. Like, I played at this bar, I played at this bar. So it looked like I was professional. I wasn't really. And I sent it into Star Now. And then in Star Now, they had all these auditions for like cruise ship jobs, piano vocal cocktail gigs in London, all that stuff. So I literally just applied to all of them, and then I get a phone call, and that's how I did it. Now, it may not be as easy for you. You may be living remotely. And if you're remote like me now, I live in Cornwall, like it's a lot harder for me to get paid work down here than it is in London. So again, it depends on where you are. But there is still like lastminutemusician.com for the UK. And then you've also got your online agents as well. So I use a Live Network for some agencies. I used to use Vern Allen in Exeter for cabaret work. But agencies tend to pick you up once you're with another agency. So I was, again, very lucky because I managed to get on that agent's books for my first cruise ship job. Once I was on his contract, I then approached another agent, and then another agent, and another agent. So because I was already on one person's books, it kind of snowballed. So that I was on about 10 agents at one point with different gigs, corporate and weddings and hotels and cruise ships and all that stuff. But for some of you who may be rural, you can't do that. So in which case, what I would suggest is you would take your biography, your demo, and you would take your photo, your demo, and your biography, and you just want to create like a simple landing page online. I use Kajabi, but there are like landingpages.com, leadpages.com does it. There's so many out there, and you can literally create a simple page where it has a beautiful photo of you with your biography and your audio, and then you just literally email out all the wedding venues and say, hi, I'm a wedding singer. Please could you keep my details in the books? Or you might want to approach different hotels where you are, or you might want to, again, just apply for those agents. So there's so many different ways that you can turn professional. And there's also different rates for gigging as well. So for example, if I'm singing at a pub, or when I used to sing at a pub, they wouldn't pay very much, maybe 130, 140. The holiday parks used to pay 200, 250. Weddings would pay a lot more because obviously it's someone's big day. There's a lot more rehearsing that's involved. And it's a long day as well. So I do the wedding breakfast, I do the ceremony, and the drinks reception. So it's a larger day, but also they require a higher quality of musician. Yeah. So it depends on where you sit with that, but that's how you can turn professional. I was making a full-time living, as I said, for 16 years till COVID hit. And then I went into the singer's piano, but I've done so many different types of gigs. And it really starts with taking that chance on yourself. Like, if I was to like talk to my previous self, that little 24-year-old girl who was really scared, I was really scared about turning professional. I think you just have to take a deep breath and go for it. But don't have any expectations, because I think the expectations equal the disappointment. You know, if you've got this expectation, oh, well, Sam's got her first gig, so why haven't I? That must mean I'm awful. No, it could have been luck. I don't know. I don't know why I got my first gig. It could have been all sorts of things. Maybe they were looking for a redhead. What I would say to you is keep going, and you will have the most incredible career as a piano vocalist. As I said, I've traveled the world. I have been at some of the most amazing countries and singing on the top of cruise ships, looking over vast amounts of oceans, the Norwegian fjords, singing and playing Barbra Streisand and Adele. It's been magical. It's been absolutely magical, and I wouldn't change any of it. So listen, I hope that has helped. I've literally, in the past 2 video series, I've taken you all the way from being a beginner piano player all the way up to being pro and how you can become pro. If you've enjoyed this, please subscribe, and I will see you in next week's video. Take care. Bye.